Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dina bringing another daily dose. Did you know that when God created you, he created you uniquely to thrive? Did you know that he created you with a purpose that is different than every single person on this planet? That kind of blows my mind that there's billions of people on this planet, billions of people that have come and gone and will come, and you're still unique. We are still unique, and we were knit together in our mother's womb with a purpose and a plan, and it was a plan to thrive. But there's something that God requires of us first to do that. So before I share that with you, I want to read a scripture. It's Psalm 37:23 in the Amplified Version. The steps of a good and righteous man are directed and established by the Lord, and he delights in his way and blesses his path. God blesses our path. He has a path for us if we follow that. So there are some things that are required of us in order to be able to receive that God has planned for us. The number one most important thing is obedience. We have to be able to be obedient to what he's called us to do, regardless of how hard it gets, regardless of how uncomfortable it gets. We need to be able to hear his voice above the noise of this world. And second thing is discipline. If you've seen anybody that is successful, you know that one of the main characteristics of them is discipline and hard work. And this is not the same kind of discipline like I'm going to go to the gym every single day and work out until I have a fit body. This is about discipline, about putting your own wants and needs and personal desires aside and staying true to what God has called you to do, to pushing through the difficult things that come up in the way, the distractions, and staying focused on what God has called you to do. But what I want to really talk to you today about is called sanctification. So I'm going to explain to you what that is. Sanctification, I'm going to read this to you. It says sanctification it means to wash, to cleanse, to consecrate, or to set aside for a special purpose. Sanctification is a Christian teaching about how God transforms a person. So much of what I talked about on this channel is about transformation, making them fit for a holy purpose. Sanctification includes a change of heart, a desire to love God and other people. It includes a change of mind, seeing the world from an honest perspective. It includes embracing the truth about life and oneself and others. And in the future, sanctification includes a change in the body, healing and perfecting what it means to be human. So much of what I talk about here is about just being a better human. It's not about being a better mom or a better wife. Those are byproducts of being a better human. But how do we become a better human? How do we get to be somebody that the byproduct of that is that we enjoy ourselves. We enjoy our life. We are a good mom. We are a good wife. Well, it takes being obedient. It takes being disciplined, the way I described it, and it takes the sanctification process. This is the biggest part of our journey. So in the world of special needs parenting, in the world of an extreme situation that we walk through when it comes to our families, God has a purpose in that for us. And it's hard to see that when you're in the most difficult season of it or when you're just discovering that you now have to walk that. I remember when I first found out that Gracie had special needs and I was not equipped for that. I didn't know what I was going to do. But the process that God has brought me through, it was very, very hard in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. I was depressed all the time. I was not a good person. I was not a good human being. Although the outside world would probably say that I was still operating in the things that most people would say are being a good person, but I wasn't a good person inside. Bitterness in my heart. I hid how I felt most of the time. I was in this deep grieving all the time. It wasn't until I surrendered to the process of sanctification and allowed the Holy Spirit to transform me. And I've mentioned this so many times on this channel that the situations don't necessarily change when God is doing this. I do believe that situations are circumstances, the natural, as we say, will come into alignment with that, because God can only bless you with the level that you believe, in faith in what you believe. So if your outside world isn't lined up with your belief, then your belief needs to change. Your faith needs to change, because God is still God. God can do anything. God can do a miracle. But if we're not seeing it, sometimes it's because we're going through the sanctification process. Sometimes it's because our belief isn't strong enough for that. But it's not about self-condemnation. It's about being kind to yourself. This is about a journey of becoming the best version of yourself, about becoming the best human being that you can, so you can actually operate and do the thing, that purpose, that unique purpose that God called you to do. And sometimes that might be a mom of a special needs child. That might be somebody who's got a podcast. That might be somebody that's changing the world. And honestly, those people that are out there doing the things that are actually changing the world, the ones that are really making an impact in the world, they are the ones that get this. They're the ones that actually are connected to who they are. They know their purpose. They've done the inner work. They've done the sanctification process, and they're the ones that are now operating in that God-given purpose. So in this process of becoming who God has called you to be, there is a dying to yourself that has to happen. There is a dying to your ways and your wants and your needs that has to happen. This is one of the most challenging things as a human being to do, is to put aside what you want and to put aside what you think is right and allow God to show you that. So much of my journey has been letting go of what I thought my life was going to look like, who I thought I was, and just trusting the process. Always, 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 God has shown me something better than what I could have ever seen before. If ever he takes something from you, and I don't necessarily believe he takes something from you, but I do believe he allows you to go through things. Sometimes he does. I think sometimes he strips us of everything, or he allows those circumstances to strip us of everything so that he can rebuild us. Especially if we're going down a path that is self-destructive, which I've had many of those in my life. God will remove things or people from your life because there is a sanctification that needs to happen. There is a discipline and obedience that needs to come in for him to actually do the thing that he has created you for. And when we are operating in that, that's when we're truly fulfilled. It sounds like, why would this be fulfilling? Why do I have to do all this work? It seems like it's hard work. It wouldn't seem like it would actually fulfill you, but it does. It is in surrender and obedience and discipline and listening to the Lord, regardless of how difficult it is where you find true freedom. It's where you find your strength. It's where you find fulfillment and satisfaction. It is only in walking out how God designed you, the one who created you and knows the blueprint for your life, is when you're going to actually be fulfilled. That is the greatest desire that people have, is to be satisfied and be fulfilled in their lives. But they're searching for the wrong things. They're searching for it in relationships or money or sex or whatever that might be. None of those things are going to fulfill us and satisfy us if we're operating outside of our God-given identity and our purpose. God gave us all those things to enjoy and to enjoy abundantly, but not in place of him, not in place of who he's called us to be. So if you are unfulfilled and you're unsatisfied and you're continuing to striving to try to get to that place of feeling like you've arrived, I don't think we're ever going to arrive, but if you finally feel like, okay, I feel like my life is good, you've got to surrender to the sanctification process. You have to be obedient and be able to hear God's voice over all the noise of the world, especially the noisy world that we live in now. So anyway, this is something that we probably need to talk about on a deeper level and a deeper training. But I just want to leave you with that God called you. He uniquely designed you to thrive. And that comes from a process of something that you have to do first, and that is obedience and hearing his voice over yours and over the world. It's that sanctification process of being transformed by the renewing of your mind, the way you view the world. So much of what I talk about here is about just being a better human. It's not about being a better mom or a better wife. Those are byproducts of being a better human. But how do we become a better human? How do we get to be somebody that the byproduct of that is that we enjoy ourselves. We enjoy our life. We are a good mom. We are a good wife. Well, it takes being obedient. It takes being disciplined the way I described it. And it takes the sanctification process. This is the biggest part of our journey. It is through discipline. And again, I mean the kind of discipline where you are faithful, that you don't give up when it's hard, that you continue to keep pushing forward even when things don't seem like they're working out for you. That's what I mean by discipline. So anyway, I hope this encourages you. I hope that you are on this journey for your own self-discovery. And I just pray that you will surrender to what God is trying to do in your life, because you will find true fulfillment and satisfaction and freedom in that when you just let go and you let him do what he has planned for you. So share this with somebody that you think could use some encouragement. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey, and just take the time to like, share, and subscribe and all that stuff so that we can reach more people. And the God of the universe loves you. I love you, and I can't wait for us to be back together again. So have an awesome day. Bye.